Hi, this is Anthony Wilson, the Public Information Officer for the City of San Angelo. And you may be wondering, like I am, why is there a humongous spider on that man? Well, let's take a look at this to show you why that is. So obviously we're here today to talk about one of the hidden gems, unfortunately hidden, in our community, and that is the San Angelo Nature Center. So here to talk with us about that today is the coordinator of the Nature Center, Selena McSherry. Selena, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us on here today.
Now that thing that you're holding right now started off over here on me. Tell us what this is that exactly that you have.
Okay, this is a golden choco knee tarantula. Not native to Texas. She's from South America, but very beautiful, as you can tell.
And I'm assuming by the fact that you're holding it, two things. One, it's not poisonous.
It's actually venomous, yeah.
It is?
Yes.
So there's a possibility that it could bite you and inject some venom in you?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then what would happen?
I would probably need to see a doctor. But she's really good. She's the most docile of tarantulas. And I've handled her for quite a while, so if she bites me, she's probably very upset.
So she's never bitten you?
Not yet. Not yet. Okay. Knock on wood.
So you mentioned that she's very docile. Do spiders have personalities?
Absolutely. Every animal does. I know the Texas brown tarantula tends to be a little more aggressive than most tarantulas we have. Yeah, I mean, they all have personalities. Hers, she's got a good one.
And for the record, she did not even tell me that this thing was venomous when she put it on me, so shame on you. The second question I was going to ask is, obviously, you're not afraid of this thing.
No, no, I absolutely love having her around. She's really, really sweet, and if you show fear, I mean, they feel that too, so you can't come into this job and just be afraid of anything like that.
Now, you have been calling this spider, this tarantula, a she.
Right.
She has a name.
She has a name. Her name is Emma Stone, named after Spider-Man's girlfriend in the movie, played by Emma Stone.
All right. Now, you were telling me something interesting. Every single animal, creature that you have at the Nature Center has a name.
Yes, absolutely. Every single one of them. We're up to about 126, and every single animal has a name.
And you said the names tend to fall in one of three categories.
It's usually food, celebrities, or candy. So yeah, we tend to go off of those things. If we're not naming it after a candy or something like that, it's got to be a celebrity name.
So why foods, candy, and celebrities?
We tend to fight on names. Most of the time we will disagree on what we want, and we'll have volunteers vote on what their favorite names are, but it always ends up being candy, food, or a celebrity.
Now, do you have a favorite name at the Nature Center?
I would say Bubblegum. I love Bubblegum. Our rat snake who I brought today, she is as sweet as candy, so we had to name her Bubblegum because that would have been a perfect name for her.
Very good. So now I mentioned you're the coordinator at the Nature Center, and I want you to tell our audience a little bit about yourself. How and why did you become interested in animals?
That started when I was just little. I mean, I was the little tomboy in my family, and I was constantly the one taking my mom's Tupperware out and catching insects in the backyard or little spiders, which she never used the Tupperware ever again after that. But I still do it to this day. I was there last weekend and saw a tarantula that I thought was pretty cool, so I wanted to catch it and look at it. And that's really where my interest in animals started, just being outdoors, enjoying nature, enjoying everything that's around us, and you know, going for little hikes and actually seeing these creatures and out in the wild is just, it amazed me.
And so the spider, did you actually keep the tarantula that you caught at your parents' house?
I did. I kept him for about 3 days and then I released him. He was in the middle of the road, so he didn't really need to be there anyways, but I took him to more of a spot that he needed to be. And he was a big, older Texas Brown, so he probably wasn't going to live too much longer anyways. But very, very nice to see.
So when you were a kid, did you have a favorite animal?
Any little crickets, anything that hopped that I could actually catch, I just thought it was the best thing ever. Worms, I tried to stay away from. I still don't like them now. But yeah, the little insects that could hop around or anything that could fly that I could catch was great for me.
Now this was interesting to me too. Before we started filming, you were telling me spiders, snakes, hissing cockroaches, lizards, those sort of things, no problem. Worms you don't like to touch.
I can't do it. I cannot even bait my hook when I go fishing. I don't know why. It's the same movement as a snake, which I'm fine with, but the worms, that's the only one that I say no to.
Now that is interesting. So how did you end up managing the Nature Center?
I started a few years ago and I just started in the front desk position, but it was so interesting to me. I could not just sit at the front desk. I wanted to learn about everything. I wanted to be a part of everything. And I caught on very quickly and I started learning about animals that I didn't know about. And it just progressed from there, and now I'm the coordinator out there and absolutely love it.
Now, do you remember your first visit to the Nature Center?
I do. I actually went, I want to say it was probably 2011-ish with my son's preschool, and they still had the alligator at that time. So I remember going and taking pictures with the alligator with my son and loved it, absolutely loved it then. That was my very first visit and we kept going back after that.
So what kind of impression did the Nature Center make on you?
It was great. I mean, it was a really great impression. You go, I didn't know about the Nature Center even then. You go and you learn so much, and they really get you to come out of your comfort zone. And we still like to do that now, to learn that, you know, these animals aren't dangerous or they're not bad, or how to even protect yourself if you find one out in the wild. So it was a great educational experience for me, and I absolutely loved it.
Now, you know what's interesting? The vendor who put together this fabulous studio for us, while he was here, his wife and children came up to visit from San Antonio. His youngest daughter, who's 9 years old, loves animals, and so we suggested that she go out to the Nature Center, and they went out there, and she was just gaga over the Nature Center. And one of the reasons why was because she said when you go to a zoo, you know, there's quite a bit of distance between you and the animals. At the Nature Center, you really get to get up close and personal, even to the point where you can hold a tarantula, for instance, while you're there. And I think that's one of the appeals of the Nature Center, is the proximity that you get with the animals.
Right. I think it's great, and it is true. You know, at a zoo, you can't necessarily go up there and touch some of these animals. And the great thing about the Nature Center is we can take these animals out of their enclosure. You can pet them, you can get up close and personal with them and really interact with them to learn about them. And it's a really great experience. Now,
what do you notice about the reaction of kids when they visit for the very first time?
Lots of oohs and ahs and yucks. We get a lot of, oh, that's so gross. But it's really cool to see their interaction, because some kids come in not liking some of these animals and they leave absolutely loving these animals. Or if anything, learning something about them. So whenever they come in and you get all the, or maybe it smells bad in here because it smells like animals, they always come back though. They always come back and want to learn more, and they have their favorites out there. So it's really nice to see. It's pretty cool.
Well, I was wondering, so when kids come back, do they immediately rush to whatever it is that their favorite is to go and check that out?
Yes, we have favorites at the Nature Center. So you'll have a kid come in and will leave and come back, and this is their favorite animal and they love it and they enjoy it. Or if their favorite animal becomes Animal of the Month, Oh my gosh, it's a huge thing. We had kids taking pictures next to the Animal of the Month sign for their favorite animal. So it's really cool.
So tell us, right now you're holding what I would consider to be a creepy crawly. It's not exactly a warm fuzzy.
Right.
So what's the most popular creepy crawly that you have out at the Nature Center?
I would definitely say that Emma Stone would be a really popular one. Okay. Everybody loves her. Or if we want to say creepy crawly as far as snakes, Jethro. He is our bull snake, which is amazing. I mean, he's great. He's 7.5 feet, extremely docile. They're very aggressive out in the wild, but everybody loves Jethro. Everybody wants to see Jethro.
So since we're talking about creepy crawlies, you brought a couple of snakes. Let's break those out and let's talk a little bit about what it is that you have brought.
Okay.
So I see on the carton here, the first one on top is Lefty, which I think is an unusual name for a snake.
This is actually Bubblegum. She's
that
in a
is
different
Bubblegum.
container today.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to switch out containers.
And so this is the snake that you say is just sweet as can be,
Yes.
hence Bubblegum.
Yes, she's as sweet as candy. So we definitely wanted to name her Bubblegum. Her name was originally Viper because she was said to be very aggressive. She's not. She's the sweetest thing ever. So we definitely wanted to name her Bubblegum or some kind of candy that looked like this, and Bubblegum just worked out.
So tell us what kind of snake this is and teach us a little bit about this snake.
Okay, Bubblegum here is actually an albino black rat snake. So this is not her original color. She's supposed to be a dark grayish brownish color. But with the loss of pigment, she is albino. She definitely wouldn't be able to make it out in the wild because she has no camouflage. She eats rats, being a rat snake. However, she could still grow a little bit. She can get up to at least 8 feet long. These guys are great though to actually have around. They take care of our rodent population.
I see. And so you said that she eats rats. So how does that work? Do y'all feed her rats?
We do. We don't feed our animals anything live. We pre-order frozen rats, thaw them, and then feed them.
Where does one get a frozen rat?
We actually go on Rodent Pro, and
There's a website.
Yeah, there's a website, of course.
Frozen rats. So when people come to the Nature Center, then do you allow them to hold and to touch Bubblegum here?
Interact with them, yes. We definitely let them touch them for sure. If they haven't been there a few times, then it's kind of hard to get them in and immediately put this over their neck. But for birthday parties, definitely get a hold of all these guys, which is great.
So for someone who's never touched a snake or handled a snake, talk about the sensation. What do they feel like whenever you're holding and handling a snake?
People often say they are, or they think before they touch them that they're slimy and gross, and they're actually not. They're very cold and silky smooth. They have that slimy look to them, one, because everyone thinks that snakes are slimy, but the silk on them, I mean, it just looks like they'd be gross. She's not though. She's just very, very cold and super duper smooth. And
there's a lot of musculature there too, as well. I mean, I guess they're like a bone and with a lot of muscle wrapped around it.
Right. They have a spine all the way down, and then they're just one big muscle. And that's how they get around. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and how strong they are it's really nice to feel, at least. And anytime they move, you can feel that.
And so this snake is indigenous to Mexico, you said?
Well, it's United States.
Okay.
It is native to the United States around here. Rat snakes, however, you can find them pretty much anywhere. It doesn't really matter where you are.
Wherever there are rats, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we've had a chance to look at Bubblegum. Let's take a look at the other creepy crawly that you brought. And while you're doing that, maybe tell us, how many snakes do you have approximately out at the Nature Center?
I think we are close to about 48-ish snakes, ranging from international to native. And we also have venomous and non-venomous.
So how do you come in possession of these snakes?
A lot of snakes, like Bubblegum, was actually someone's pet. And a lot of times people don't realize what goes into having a snake as a pet.
Well, so that someone doesn't go out and buy themselves a snake and pardon the pun here, bite off more than they can chew with a
Right.
snake. What is involved with having a snake as a pet?
It depends really on what kind of snake you're gonna get. Obviously, anything venomous is just crazy in my book.
Right.
But people still often do that and get venomous snakes. The cost to maintain these animals can get pretty pricey.
Because of the special
food.
foods that
Yeah.
they have to eat.
You know, rats aren't cheap, especially the frozen and pre-killed rats. And then you have to constantly think about their bedding that they're sleeping in, their enclosures. They're constantly growing, so their enclosures are always going to need to be bigger. And a lot of it just, you know, it can be overwhelming.
And two, people probably don't consider this, but they're an animal. They do create waste that has to be cleaned as well.
Definitely, and you're looking at doing that at least once every few days. And sometimes it's not, it's pretty gross sometimes. So yeah, you have to be able to really get in there and do your homework before you get these guys.
Now, if I don't know what you have here, but if I were to see this at first glance, it looks like it almost has like a diamondback rattlesnake pattern
Right.
on it.
So he actually does get confused. Now this is Jethro. This is one of our favorites. He's a bull
Okay.
snake. He has the same patterns as a rattlesnake, and he can do some really cool things. So what he can do is beat his tail on the ground so fast that it actually sounds like it's a rattlesnake.
Really?
Yes, and then with his
So is that a
face-
defense mechanism
It
to
is.
make predators think that he is in fact a venomous
Absolutely.
snake?
And he can also flatten his head to make it pointy like a rattlesnake. So these guys will mimic them, and people often kill them thinking that they are rattlesnakes. But most of the time, they're only trying to do that to scare away whatever's coming around.
I see. So you said this snake is 7.5 feet long?
Right, 7.5 feet
How
long.
much does it weigh?
He's not really heavy. We haven't weighed him before, but I mean, I can carry him fairly easy, so he's not that heavy.
Will he get any longer than that?
No, he's fully grown. In fact, we don't have an exact date on them because, or age on him. Whenever we did get him, he was already fully grown. So he could be very, very old for all we know, a good 20 years.
I see. And so, you know, the albino snake looks a lot more harmless than this. I bet this one gets a reaction when you break out at birthday parties.
We
and
take
such.
him out and we get a lot of and scared moms, usually scared moms. But he's really, really great. He's really, really sweet. He's docile, extremely docile. And we got lucky with that because these guys out in the wild are not very nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, out in the wild, they're very aggressive. I know one of the myths is that they can eat rattlesnakes, but that's just a myth. They're actually not immune to the venom. So even though they can be aggressive and fight with them, if they get bit, they will die.
I see. So now you brought some examples of creepy crawlies. You did not bring any warm fuzzies, but what are the most popular warm fuzzies out at the Nature Center?
Definitely coconut or bunny rabbit. Everybody you get a lot of good ahs with him. Our hamsters, our tiny mice, those fuzzies are great. You also have people that just love the raccoon, our big raccoon that will, you know, she's just spoiled rotten. So she will climb all over the fence for you and play around. And our bobcats, everybody loves our bobcats too.
Now, I saw a picture in the paper recently where some of your staff was actually inside the cage feeding the bobcats. Is that a dangerous situation for them, or are they so accustomed to people that they look forward to dinner time having someone come into the cage?
Right, and I guess it really depends because our caretakers have been with those bobcats for years. They were volunteers at the Nature Center, so they've been around these guys for a good 7-8 years. And they are now caretakers, and these guys, our bobcats know them, our fox know them, and they're comfortable with them, and they love them. And they know that they're not going in there to harm them or hurt them. So they actually know those are the guys that feed them, and they get really excited when they do go in.
So of all the things out the Nature Center, what would you say is your favorite?
I've recently started playing with the bobcats a lot. I've been going in there quite a bit. Bubblegum I do really, really like. I want to say Jethro because I don't want to hurt his feelings. He's one of my favorites too.
So talk a little bit about the Nature Center and some of the programming that you offer out there, because you do actually have some activities and some planned events that you have throughout the year.
Right. Every year we do a few really big events like our Fright Fest event. We absolutely love that. That's our Halloween event. We have a big celebration and lots of fun and games, tons of games and candy. Same thing with our Easter event. It's our Easter extravaganza. We do that every year, and it's a huge Easter egg hunt with crafts and a lot of fun things. Those are our favorites. We do sleepovers as well, New Year's and Valentine's, so we're really excited to start doing those again too.
So the Nature Center also offers memberships. So talk about what the cost is and what's involved with being a member at the Nature Center.
Right, our family memberships are really good. It's $25 to become a member, and it covers the whole year. So every time you come into our facility, the fees are actually waived. And for our special events, it's always a discounted price. Or for a birthday party, it's also a discounted price if you're a member. And it's great because we don't charge, like if you're a family of 4 or a family of 8, you still have that $25 membership fee.
And there are also opportunities to sponsor animals. So talk about what's involved with that.
Yes, we do have some ambassador animals that can be adopted. A symbolic adoption, of course, but they get adopted, and you're helping feed these guys and give them fun little toys to play with in their enclosures. You get a t-shirt, a Nature Center t-shirt, a picture of your animal, and information all about them.
So I know that you get lots of offers to adopt animals. What goes into your decision about whether or not you're going to accept an animal or not?
A lot of the time, it depends on either the health of the animal. If there's something wrong with it, we definitely want to take it in and try to care for it if we can. Or if someone's in a situation where they've got this animal on their hands and they can't really take care of it any longer, we definitely want to do that also. Some of these guys are found, but a lot of times if we have multiple of those animals and we can't take it in, then sometimes we just can't. I know at one point we were up to 6 ball pythons, and that's a whole lot of snakes right there.
Speaking of pythons, now you have one snake out there, Baby. Talk a little bit about Baby.
Baby was actually someone's pet at one time. Now she's a Burmese python, so she's 16 feet long and she's 250 pounds. And the person obviously didn't do their homework very well, not knowing that she was going to get that big. She is a great attraction. She is humongous, beautiful, and she's really pretty to look at. I mean, she has beautiful scales all over her, and her size is overwhelming, so everybody loves Baby.
With the other animals that you get, the wildlife like the bobcats or the raccoon or the fox, how do you come in possession of those animals?
Something like the raccoon, she was actually hand-raised. Her mother abandoned her, so a lot of these animals that are abandoned, and they need help. So she was brought to the Nature Center. She was a baby, her eyes were still closed. So she was hand-raised at the Nature Center, and when that happens, we cannot release them back into the wild. They're not able to fend for themselves.
The Nature Center is open 5 days a week. You're open Tuesdays through Saturdays. And the animals, however, have to be cared for every single day, and you rely upon your staff and volunteers to do that. What qualifications do you look for in a volunteer if someone wants to come out and help with the care of the animals?
Right. We ask that anyone that wants to be a volunteer be at least 13 years old. And we love if they're just really involved and if they really want to learn. And very hands-on, because it is a very hands-on thing to do. These guys have to get fed and cleaned every single day, so you're not always going to just be holding animals and playing with them, but you're going to be cleaning out enclosures and stuff like that too. So as long as you're 13 and willing to kind of get your hands dirty and learn about these guys, it's a great opportunity and experience.
So one can obviously imagine that taking care of a tarantula versus a bull snake versus a bobcat are 3 different things. So what all goes into the caring for these animals, such a wide variety of animals that you have to feed and care for every single day?
Absolutely. We had to really educate ourselves on what gets what eats what, and it's not easy sometimes. If we have 6 tarantulas and tons of snakes, everybody's on a schedule. So certain things get fed at certain times and on certain days. So it's a lot. And you know, we have a 4-person staff that works really, really hard, and we all work together really well too. So we're able to help each other out on everything, and knowing and really just getting in there and doing it. It's hard, but it's fun.
So how often does a snake like Jethro or Bubblegum, how often do they eat?
So they eat once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks, depending on, sometimes in the wintertime it's once a month because they do kind of sleep for a little bit, just like our turtles. But everything else, especially the mammals, get fed every single day. Some of the smaller reptiles get fed every single day. We do have one fasting day, but that's usually our good cleaning day too. So
one of the things that you offer out there are children's birthday parties, and our videographer Brian Groves, his daughter recently had her birthday party out there, and he tells people it's the best deal in town for having a kid's birthday party. Talk about what happens during a birthday party.
Birthday parties are a blast. It is for a 2-hour time period, but we do a 40-minute presentation. So we'll sit all the kids down and take out tons of animals, from insects to reptiles to mammals. Every child will get to touch the animal. Birthday child will get to hold and take pictures with the animals, and then we also feed some of the outside animals. So feeding the fox or the raccoon or the porcupine, it is just so much fun. And it's fun because it's just not a birthday party, but you're actually educating these kids too. So to see their reactions when you take out different animals, it is so much fun.
And of course, you know, the parents can bring their own cake or cupcakes. Yes. and do gifts and
oh, absolutely.
The whole birthday thing.
Yes, absolutely. After the presentation, you're free to, for the rest of the time, to do your own thing, whether it's cake, presents, or games. And it's a really, really good time for a birthday party at the Nature Center.
So I mentioned that our videographer Brian Groves had his daughter's birthday out there very recently, and in order to entice you to consider having your child or grandchild's birthday out there, we want you to take a look at this.
It's a good day to have a good day, so tighten up your laces and be on your way. It's a good time to have a good time, so feel the beat down in your bones and smile. Oh, take your hands and dig deep into your soul. Let yourself lose control. Turn it up, so get up, can you feel it all over? No, you'll never know when you get the chance, so put on your best
All right, so as you can see here, I'm really enjoying this interview. So Selena, I want to thank you for being with us, but before we go, I want you to make your best pitch for why people should come out to the San Angelo Nature Center.
San Angelo Nature Center is one of San Angelo's hidden gems that is amazing. If you've never been out there and you go out there, you'll definitely want to come back. Not only is it a fun time, but it's educational, and you learn so many things and get to interact with these cool guys. So definitely go out there for a fun educational time.
And so remind us where you're located, what your hours are, and what the admission fees are.
We are located at 7409 Knickerbocker Road, next to the beach area. We're open from Tuesdays through Saturdays from 12 to 5.
And so we hope that you will go out and visit the San Angelo Nature Center, and maybe you'll get a chance to hold and touch Jethro. And we hope you'll also join us for the next episode of The City.